I didn't talk about why I'm on my current fast.
Okay, well, let's get
Um,
into it.
so a couple months ago, I was having a lot of breast pain and went to the doctor, scared to death. I was like, not, not this.
Yeah.
So I have some benign tumors in my breast, and I was in a lot of pain. And of course, the first remedy they offered was surgery. And I was like, yeah, no, we're not doing that.
Mm.
Um, and so the reason I decided on this 21-day fast is to try to eliminate or at least reduce the size of those tumors. And I will say within a week, like I'm not in any pain. I wasn't in any pain after a week. And there is a noticeable difference as of right now.
Mm.
So we'll see. I'll have some follow-up appointments or whatever. But my first thought was, you know what? Just go on a prolonged fast, see what happens. But I can tell you, it's like the difference in the way that I feel in zero pain.
Yeah.
So we'll see.
Well, I'm glad you brought that up too, because I feel like where you are now, you're still getting to where you need to be, right?
Yeah.
And I think oftentimes, especially if weight loss is at the top of our list, if that's the most important thing, for somebody to lose 200 pounds, they're going to start feeling like, yo, I done kind of made it a little bit. You know what I mean? And it's like the goal should always be health,
Total
right?
health.
Right.
Mhm.
Total health. Because like I was talking to someone the other day, I said, skinny people get cancer. Like weight loss isn't weight
It
loss
doesn't
is
matter.
it's not, that's not the goal. The goal is health.
Yeah.
So being able to use fasting as a tool. I actually recently did an interview. It hasn't come out yet as of this, as as we're recording this, but I did an interview with one of our members who has a tumor on his pituitary gland in his head.
Oh wow.
Yeah, and he's had it for quite some time and something
Mhm.
he's been dealing with, but he hasn't actually taken the time to, really change his habits and kind of look at healing this thing. Well, interesting enough, he found a healthy alternative a couple years ago, but he just is kind of in it, not really, being
Yeah.
consistent. He had an attack about 2 weeks ago or so now, and he had to go to the doctor and get the scans and all that stuff done. And what they found was that his tumor had actually shrunk, and it was just the shell that, like, I don't really know. He said it's kind of like a sac, like almost like the placenta or something like that.
Mhm.
And so the sac was still there or whatever, but the actual tumor had shrunk down from he said a golf ball size to a pea size.
Wow.
And the discomfort and the pain that he was experiencing was it starting to grow again, because he hasn't been consistent with the changes that
Yeah.
he's made,
Yeah.
and this is why I preach lifestyle change so heavily. And as you were telling your story, I was thinking, when you go from 0 to 100, you're like, okay, I'm eating McDonald's and fast food and pizza, and then you go to raw.
Yeah.
That's a really extreme change.
Very.
Doesn't give your mental enough time to adjust. So then you're more prone to kind of yo-yoing.
Yep.
Do you feel like where you are now with the approach that you've taken, do you feel like it's more sustainable for you?
I do. I do. I think the initial weight loss was because there was acute things going on and I had to do it. But I think the journey since then has been so much more about my emotional, my mental, like really getting prepared for this point in my life. I'm absolutely prepared to continue on some sort of fasting regimen for the rest of my life because it feels normal. I feel better,
Yeah.
not just physically, which is why I don't talk about weight loss a whole lot. Like, yeah, I've lost 190 pounds and that's great. And I'm super proud of that. But at the same time, like where I am mentally and my outlook on life, I it's so much more powerful
Yeah.
than the weight loss. So I think taking a longer time to like get my mental under control, deal with all of those internal things that were just manifesting physically is really important.
Mm.
for that sustained lifestyle. Because if we just jump into I'm just going to fast because I want to lose 50 pounds, you can put that 50 pounds back on real quick. And you hear it all the time. Oh, I fasted for 40 days, but I gained all the weight back within 6 months.
Yep.
It's because you weren't prepared to fast for 40 days. You didn't do your internal work. And I just really think that that's missing in a lot of us, because we're still stuck in that very limited mindset. So
Right.
I do think taking a longer time, doing your internal work, making sure you're doing things for the right reasons, you're not doing it out of vanity or whatever. And of course, there's times where, again, for me, when I first started, it was like there's these acute things going on that I absolutely have to fix or I'm going to die.
Right.
Get that. But in order to sustain it, you really do have to really be ready mentally, emotionally, spiritually, even, because the spiritual part of this has been, I don't know, falling in love with the universe, God, whatever you will,
Mm-hmm.
um, has been such a huge part of this journey as well.
Oh yeah, that's exactly how it was for me. I actually was blown away at my appreciation for nature that I developed. I mean, to the point where I don't even kill before you just kill an insect, whatever.
Think
He's
about it now.
I think about it. I
Yeah.
think about all of that stuff. And it's not that I'm like super hyper sensitive, but I appreciate it and I think about it and I consider nature. I look at animals completely different from how I used to, you know. Even spiders, people people hate spiders because of all the
They're
movies and everything,
necessary.
you know. But it's like I have such a appreciation for nature as a whole and the creation as a whole. So that's amazing.
Yeah.
I
They
agree.
laugh at me because I'll be out hiking a mountain somewhere and I'll be on top of the mountain going live on Facebook or something. People are like, you out getting high, talking to God again. Like, you're absolutely right. Just because it feels like home to me. And I never, first of all, couldn't hike like that. But
Mm,
second of all, never took the time to just appreciate creation. So yeah, I think that that's such a huge part of this journey, and it's such a huge part of health. To
mm.
me, that's self-care. They have a going joke at work. I leave every day by 4 o'clock because I need to be on a trail somewhere. That's my self-care time. That's a hard boundary.
There you go.
So implementing things like that has been a huge part of this journey as well.
Yeah, absolutely. It's so empowering. I love your journey. I love your story. I love, the ups and downs. I love that it's been a long journey because people sometimes feel like this stuff has to happen overnight or should happen overnight. And now you've got to a point where, okay, you're still, healing, and you could go to the doctor and hear what you heard. Oh, you've got tumors or whatever, and not freak out and not feel like you don't have control. Like that's so empowering,
It is.
you know, to be able to have a tool because I've interviewed people who have been in those situations and those doctors go in and cut them up,
Mm-mm.
you know, and it's sad because it's like,
It's
number
awful.
one, that doesn't even solve the problem because you
No,
still have the opportunity to regrow those tumors, and it's traumatizing.
it's very traumatizing. But that goes back to me saying, like, it goes back to like delicate arch. Once you really understand how powerful your mind is, there's nothing that anybody can tell me right now that I feel like I can't overcome. There's
Mm,
nothing. I call it a God moment, call it whatever you want, but just that one moment in time and the realization that you have absolute control over the trajectory of your life. Absolute. It doesn't matter if they tell me I have stage 4 cancer and I'm dying in a week. I don't believe you.
right,
I know what my mind can do. I
right.
know what I've done. I'm going to go home and heal. I'll see you in 6 months.
There you go.
I mean, once you get to that point, it's just, it's amazing just the amount of control you can have over your body.
Mm-hmm.
Um, which again, that's why I wrote my book. I'm just like, people need to know that. They need to
Yeah.
know that they're infinite beings. Like, you are limitless. Your mind can take you anywhere that you want to go. You have ultimate control over the trajectory of your life. And once you understand that, like, the sky is the limit. It doesn't
Mm-hmm.
happen overnight. Nobody's going to get there overnight. As I was laughing when I put my progress pictures on Healthy Alternative, people were like, 10 days? I'm like, hell no, not 10 days. What are you talking about?
What's wrong?
Like 10 years. Um, but you're right. People do think, oh, this should happen overnight. If it happens overnight, easy come, easy go,
Here we
right?
go. Yep.
And I still struggle. I still struggle with food. Like, I want to have a piece of cheesecake, but I know I can't, right? And it'll be a lifelong struggle because, again, we're all addicted to food in
Right.
some way or another. We're all addicted to toxic things. It's a constant struggle, but once you have control over your mental, I think you're golden. You're good. You can get there. It might take you a long time, but you'll get there.
Yep. And the thing that I've learned through this process is you don't have to sacrifice good eating. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
so it depends on what kind of restrictions you want to place on yourself. But as far as just, reversing disease and losing weight and getting the mental clarity and stuff, you don't have to go that hard. Like, I had lasagna a couple nights ago. I made it from scratch
Yeah.
and it was delicious. I made everything, and I didn't put cheese on top or whatever, but like it was still delicious though. You know what I mean? And if I wanted to do cheese, I could do like nut cheese or
Cashew
uh,
cheese, whatever. Yeah.
cashew. Yeah, I mean, you can make it. I just was like, I don't want to do all that. But I mean, it was still really, really good. And now I'm adding that to my little repertoire because I feel like that'd be worth it to make it again.
I think
So
so. But I think some of the things that people struggle with, and I know I struggle with it, right? I'm busy. I work, I got the son I got to tote around, I got all of these things I need to do. People struggle with a fast food lifestyle because it's convenient, right?
yeah, yeah.
Um, and so cooking for me has become a new love because it had to,
Mm.
right? I can't go buy a lasagna out of the frozen food section because I don't know what's in it. I can't read half of the ingredients.
And it's
Um,
nasty sometimes.
that don't even sound good. I don't know
Oh,
what
man.
it is.
I had a vegetarian lasagna. Oh, it was so nasty.
Uh-uh. But I think too that's a struggle, right? Some people don't know how to cook. It's a perfect opportunity to learn. And then people really, truly, with the pace of our lives, don't have time to cook. So, did you say that you are writing a cookbook?
Yeah, yeah. I'm working on recipes for like a year now.
Okay. Well, keep us posted because I would love to.
Well,
But
yeah.
I do. I think that's important. So people like yourself putting out cookbooks and even quick recipes that are healthy and people can cook. Because I do. I think that is a real big struggle. Is just this. We're so used to convenience,
Mm,
fast food, and just picking something up that we've forgotten the art of cooking and understanding that you can have good food.
yeah.
Um, it may not be a Twinkie, uh, it can still be good. I think that's the other thing that fasting does, right? Is so resetting your palate. Um, Before I started this current fast, I had stopped drinking coffee and all of that stuff, particularly because I'm prone to having heart issues or whatever, and I can't have the caffeine. Um, I realized how much my palate reset. I had some iced tea. I
Mm.
didn't realize it was sweetened. I was like, wow, that's
Yeah,
sweet.
yeah.
Yeah, so I don't know. It's just been such an amazing journey, Chris. I am excited about what's to come. I'm really thankful for a healthy alternative because I tell you what, it has just really changed my paradigm around food and what we need to ingest and health in general.
Yeah, that's beautiful. It really makes me feel good to hear and also see. I was actually when I saw your transformation, it was there right now. There's a period of time where the group like posts a whole bunch of transformation pictures. It's like everybody's on the same wavelength or whatever.
Yeah.
And I remember I was thinking back to maybe about 2.5, 3 years ago.
Uh-huh.
I was just like, man, I remember thinking to myself, I can't wait for the day when people are just posting their transformation pictures. And because at the time everybody was getting started, everyone was new,
Yeah.
no one really had the progress yet, you
Yeah.
know? And now for it to come full circle for me and to be having people like yourself on the show and hearing these amazing journeys, like it really makes me feel good. And I'm like, wow, like we did something that's actually helping people. So,
Absolutely.
I appreciate having people like you in the community and your willingness to share. It means a lot, you know. Uh, I wanted to real quick. I wanted to ask you how, like, is your book available somewhere for people to buy?
It's available on Amazon. Um,
Okay,
it's called Limitless: Thoughts on Living a Limitless Life.
okay. So, if possible, then I'll get a link for your Amazon book, and I'll leave that in the description box so people can check that out because talking to you, I could tell that you have a level of enlightenment and going through this situation. You sound like me, like you know. I say things about our limitless abilities and like we could do whatever. It's just really understanding you could do it, and then also learning how.
Yeah.
There is a process of learning, but
I can't even explain it. I know you get into these conversations with people and you try to get them there, but there just has to be that moment for them, that spark. And the reason I wrote this book was really that 21 days is the thing, that 21-day road trip.
yeah,
Um, I don't know. I just, again, fell in love with the universe, fell in love with like who I am, really started understanding like there's something so just inherent in all of us that I don't think we've learned to tap into.
mm,
And it's about clearing out all of the rest of the garbage that we've learned, and really getting to the core of just the essence of who you are. It's really hard to explain. But really, the book just walks through how to clear out all of that junk and how to really start believing, getting rid of those limiting beliefs,
right.
and really get to the core of, you know what? I'm not a victim. I can't have this victim mentality. I can control all of this if
Mm.
I really believe I can. So I think that's why I wrote the book. I don't know. It's not a long book. It's a pretty easy read. But yeah, that's just, I really wanted people to get to that point because that feeling, once you get it, I don't know, it changes everything.
Changes everything. I agree 100%. Well, this has been enlightening, and
Yes, it's been great meeting you and talking with you.
yeah, I'm really happy that we got a chance to do this, and I would love to extend the opportunity to come back at some point in time, maybe do like a live stream, and
That'd be
get a
awesome.
chance to interact with the group live.
Yeah, that'd be awesome. I would love that. I will update you on what the doctor says about these tumors.
Yeah,
We'll see
definitely.
how that goes. I'm
Oh,
expecting an all clear.
that reminds me, I have a suggestion. It's the same suggestion that I made to the other member that I was telling you about who was dealing with his tumor. So recently, I've been learning about essential oils, and I've always been interested in herbs and things like that. But I've been using the essential oils for all sorts of different health related issues, energy, whatever. And amongst me, my friends, and those who have used them so far, we've had some really amazing results. So I gave Art a link to this oil. It's called DDR Prime, which
Mhm.
is a blend of oils, and it's designed for tumors. And he told me that the week leading up to his incident, he was having very hard time, weak legs, just not be, just I don't know, just feeling very weak, very fluish, achy, things like that. Couldn't really work, and after he got his oils, he was taking them for I think just one day. He noticed that his energy was starting to come back. It was just instantaneous.
Yeah.
And I can't remember. I don't think he's fasting yet. I know he plans on it, but yeah, it's an herbal blend that helps to promote shrinking tumors.
Well,
So
send me the link. I would be interested to check it out and try it.
yeah. Yeah, I'm gonna send it to you, and you know, if you can implement it in part of your strategy along with fasting, I'm really interested to see the results. And I want to make sure that, you know, if you're gonna be getting checked up pretty soon or whatever, that you do see some significant
Yeah.
results. But I'm confident either way it goes that you will. You
Yeah,
know,
so am I. I think
so
just physically, I can physically feel a difference. So
mhm.
yeah, we'll see. I'm optimistic about it.
Yeah, and one thing I do tell people is like, because I experienced the same thing when I was dealing. I had an irritation in my urethra,
Hmm.
and doesn't sound like much, but it was like it got to the point where I was like, I'm like, this is I am not how am I gonna live with this for the rest of my life? But you know, just like the doctors say, like if they give you an antibiotic, they'd be like, okay, even if it goes away after the first 2 or 3 days,
Taking it.
continue taking it because you have to completely get the you know, virus or whatever, the bacteria under
Yeah,
control. It's the same thing with fasting and the healing you get from that. Your initial whatever pains and things may go away, but you got to continue doing it to
absolutely.
to to fully flush out that issue. So yeah, I just wanted to offer that little extra tidbit. But
I love it.
was there anything else that you wanted to speak on before we wrap things up?
I can't think of anything right now, Chris.
You said it all.
I don't think so, but
Well,
I'm sure later on I'll email you. Like, you know what I forgot?
I didn't want to get too deep, but hopefully you'll be willing to come back and chat with us again, and you know, we
Absolutely.
can always get into more things. But I love your energy. I think you look great. You know, your
Thanks.
transformation's amazing, and you are on the right path. I mean, I definitely expect a year from now you're going to continue to see amazing growth in your life.
Oh my gosh, I'm so excited about it. I just think, again, the sky's the limit. So we'll see where it ends up. I'm just trying to get through this 21 days.
I'll shoot you a little tip with with the oiled link
Perfect.
to help you get through it.
All
But
right.
all right, y'all. So if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to hit the thumbs up button. If you want to see more videos like this, don't forget to subscribe. And as always, the application of knowledge is power. And I will see you all next time.
Bye.